do it. Back to gaming. Oh. I should have got a snack. I'm fucking hungry. Goddamn. What's it gonna do? Oh, I wanted to get some magic levels to enchant jewelry. Maybe I don't. I need 49 for ruby. Another 57 for diamond. Yeah, I'm not good. I'll leave it for now. However, what I can do for now is quests. I have my teleports now. Well, I could make a... I have to go Death Plateau. Games Necklace would be nice. Should be able to make one of those. Yeah, let's do that. Pretty sure I got a sapphire necklace. Got a few. Let's go. Is it fire and... No, it's going to be water and cosmic. I don't have a lot of these, so... Gotta make it count. I need to nag Ellen to get me some cosmic roots. Alright, do I need gear for this? Enemies to defeat? Apparently not. 10 unnoted bread, 10 unnoted pre-made... what? Okay. I'll put my gear away. Get these on. If there's no combat, I shouldn't have to worry too much about gear. Probably don't want to bring all my money. I don't think I'll die, but on the off chance I do, I'd like not to lose all my money as well. Let's see. Iron bar. Is that in my bank or group storage? Oh! Hell yeah! Fucking gamers. And the bread! I need to go get the trout though. I guess cooked trout, considering it's... yeah. Alright, where's my runes? To teleport with... I could probably wear this amulet for now. Okay. I don't have any, like, trout now. Let me grab feathers, I think, and fly fishing rod. And lumberage is just earth. That, and I'll just wear this for now to get around. Okay. Oh cool, someone's making a load of fires as well. I'll make cooking this nice and easy. Let's see what it is. So I only need trout. Dump my inventory after it. Just hope I don't fuck up the cooking. That's gonna annoy me. I really gotta fill my inventory up for this. Drop this in. Me trout. Anybody else making fires? Or is this person done making fires? I guess I could probably use the cooking range in Lunbridge. There's like that bonus levels. So that I don't make any fuck ups. I'm gonna grab 11 just in case I fuck up with cooking. I could... No, there's nothing I can get rid of. And I think I can comfortably get rid of. I may just fucking teleport to the front of the castle because I don't want to have to keep running back and forth. Hello, Earth. What are you wanting? I have to get a 10 trout. It's imperative. And they have to be unnoted and cooked. Okay, off to a good... Yep, off to a very good start. Hell yeah. Keep it going. Oh! Oh, this is actually... wow. And this is when I burn the last 2 in a row. Nope, that's everything. Awesome. Let me eat that. Okay. So... I just need to go to Berthorpe. I'm gonna get rid of these fishing supplies. Let's see. Hello, sir. Apparently with the warp pack you can solo bunkers in Helldive, isn't it? You can warp into the bunker? Okay, that's actually fucking awesome. I've been meaning to buy the pack. Lets you warp through the door both ways. I've been meaning to get that because I actually really want the warp pack just for the fun of it. I do have the super credits for it, it's just I've not felt like playing it. But that does sound fucking amazing, holy shit. Glitch into there with the volley gun, but you can't glitch back out. That's actually kind of funny though. I always thought that the bunkers were like not rendered. Or like the loot wasn't spawned until you open them. Obviously I'm not saying that was the case, I just always felt like it because you wouldn't know anything was in there until you opened it. It kind of felt like, what's it called? What's that stupid guy and his cat called again? Schrodinger's. It felt like a Schrodinger's cat kind of deal. It's time for the warp pack and it's on page 3 of it. That's so fucked. But yeah, I'm still gonna get it. Because it looks like a fun pack. It genuinely looks like such a funny pack. It's nice to see that they haven't run out of ideas yet, because those war bonds are gonna get messy. Pretty good with the fire modes. Plasma cannon is shite. Yeah, I've heard about that. It's bound to happen. They can't make it too overpowered because then it just kind of makes the game pay to win. I can't imagine how they can balance that sort of stuff, really. Take his gun away from the gun. can just take this from the... What the fuck? This place does not run well. Full auto to make it into a shotgun. That's actually kind of funny. That's actually kind of cool. Yeah, that's just basically, oh man, I need to reload this fucking mag. Might as well just unload the rest in one blast. Yeah. It's a cool idea. If you like to gamble, sure, place your bets. Oh yeah. As much recoil as you'd think. That's kind of nice. I'm definitely gonna get it. I'm definitely gonna get that woman. I've got 1,000, which I've been saving up, so that'd be good. It'd be a lot of fun. Light penetration, a little unwieldy, so you feel the drop. Oh, I see. Yeah, see, this is why I still use the, fuck, what's it called? Is it the adjudicator that I use? It's like medium penetration assault rifle. And it just, like, it's got so much control, it's just, it's so good. Fucking, I love it so much. Fucking incredible. Oh. I have to collect the balls, right, my bad. This is a pretty solid option. Yeah, I can imagine it's just good for like hordes. It sounds like a very horde-based weapon. It'd be interesting if they ever do anything like... I still am of the opinion that somewhere in like the next 5 years they're gonna add a new faction. You know, something exclusive to Helldivers 2. Evil one-shot harvesters in the eye with the total blast. Goddamn. But yeah, like, it'd be interesting to see if they ever do, like, a faction that is purely based on, like, large individuals, like, strong fucking motherfuckers instead of just hordes. Because it is just always hordes, isn't it? You know, you think about what a Helldiver is. A Helldiver is just one guy against the world. It'd be cool if there was some creature, you know, like faction. If there was a faction that was more like that as well. Also got some they do, but I mean, like, they still have hordes, don't they? Like, if there was a faction that just did not have hordes. Just got another one. Oh, I see, I see. Christ, of course they fucking have. As if they don't cause enough fucking problems already. see. Need to find out how much cosmic runes are real quick in a sec. Cosmic rune. Incendiary brigade going on at the moment. God damn. Hang on, I need to do maths. Doing a heavy brigade feature that brings larger units or bug mutation alongside. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be fucking awesome. Okay, so cosmic runes. How much are cosmic runes? They are. At least discount wise. Oh, they're cheap. Holy fuck. Okay. So 62 times 100, and then we'll just add like 5% more to that, maybe 10% more to that. So okay. And then how much for the lower runes? Let me see where it's plus 300 times 1.1. It's 39k. What other things does he have? Nature runes. Yeah, let's get like 200 nature runes, maybe. So, actually, we'll do 150 nature runes. 150 times 100 times 1.1. That's 56k. Wait, no, it's not times 100, it's times 225. What am I doing? There we go. 76k. Oh wait, it does say change per percentage. Right, it doesn't actually change. Oh, I'm being an idiot. Okay, hold up. I guess I don't need to add in that 1.1. If I've understood correctly. My ability to skim a room. You were trying. I mean, to be fair, you gave me the extras anyways last time. Let me see. So 100 cosmics, 100 law, 150 nature. I think that's everything. Yeah, we'll say that's everything. Okay, I'll write it down. Sorry. 100 cosmic 100 or 200 no 150 each. That should be 69.50. Put it in grenade. Get to it. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish this quest up and then I'll drop it in a bank. This isn't my total money, don't worry. I have like 300k. I've just been doing, like, while working all day, I've just been fucking doing Valamore houses. So I got like 300k to me right now, which is fucking great. It's such a relief. I'll probably just dump 70k in, like, it's not really a big deal. I need to fucking round it up. Or do I need to be precise, rather? Okay. Come on. Come on. Is that over? Yeah. Talk to Dunstan again. Wait, what? Then didn't. Oh, I see. Start the quest. There's no bank nearby besides the... Do you think I can get in the Warriors Guild? I forget what the requirement was. It was like a combat level of some sort. Combined attack and strength of at least 130. Fuck. How far off? Oh, I'm pretty far off. Okay. Complete the quest. Have to wear these. Oh no, I just bring them over. Oh, I also added like 100 or like 150 strange fruits to the group storage because I was just like yesterday I was just leveling my thieving so I could get to Valamore. And I just kept every single fucking strange fruit. So now we can just run forever. Wait, this guy's name's Tenzin? Okay. Is this when I have to like walk towards the mountain and then come back? I think... Yeah. far enough, yeah. To Berthorpe, the game's necklace. Alright, so go get my reward. I'm gonna go dump the money in the bank. Hell yeah! See this place I can teleport to. Bridge. Could just go to Barbarian Outpost, but it's so out of the way. I'm just gonna do Monastery. This was easier. I feel like I dumped like 200 strange fruits or something in there. I know someone else had already stockpiled some, but oh, 169, okay. 35. Bam. Okay. What's next? Goblin Diplomacy. Well, this is fucking ass. The orange dye. Oh wait, isn't there like a ton of dye in the chest? Oh, there's no red dye. Oh, but there's red berries, I see. Wait, is it red berries that you need? It is red berries, isn't it? What was the actual... 3 red berries. 5 coins. 2, 3 yellow dye. Money. Oh, I haven't been sharing the goblin mail. I forgot. My bad. I remember getting them at the start of the game and telling myself I'm just going to stockpile these and give them out. Whoops. Hee So, right, what was that? Grab all the goblin mails. Just gonna chuck them all in and take my 3 out. 1, 2, 3. Okay, save. Oh, I still need blue dye. Yoink. Okay. Let me get my runes for teleporting around. Is that everything? Oh, that's everything. Wait, no it isn't. Yeah it is. Yeah it is. Okay. Use blue dye on one of the goblin mails. Okay. Use orange dye on one of the goblin mails. Okay, let me go get that. So, drain all village. Take that off. That's enough for now. Easiest route to drainable. I'm gonna put my gear on, fuck it. It's gonna weigh me down, but I don't care. Actually, you know what? I do care. Put my gloves back at least. There's no combat here anyways. Oh. Oh, that's been bugging me for a while. Let's get my Arduino cloak to teleport with. Alright, set to Lumbridge. Need to level up my stuff a bit more. Getting Camelot teleport would be nice. Actually saying that. Hold up. Do we get back to Lumbridge? Yay, I have Camelot teleport now. Awesome. I'm sorry, is this guy cannoning fucking rats in Lumbridge? What? He must be like speedrunning some low task. I've never seen that before. Speak to the witch. Aggie. Okay. What can you make for me? I need to make red dye. 5 coins, yep, make me some red dye. There we go. Okay. Let's go find a door. It's down below here, isn't it? The quest even. Yeah. I don't get why this is so far on the optimal Iron Man quest list. I mean, I guess it's not that optimal, but like, if it's not that optimal, why is it even this far down? I feel like there are better quests. Whatever. I don't really know what the optimization is based. Oh, maybe it's like based on something else. Like maybe it's based on unlocking this for some other quest. Maybe that's why it's here. Yeah. Trying to pick your armor color. Yeah. What about different color? Yes, start goblin diplomacy. Yes, I have some brown armor. Come on. Christ. Is that brown? Wait, that's brown? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Queen of Thieves. Thieving experience. Is this the one where you go down below the thing in Port Sarim? No. Oh, does this unlock access to the Warrens? Oh, okay, I don't know about this. We'll do this. I need a stew. I think I still have my stew, actually. That's the closest thing to a main. I'll just use this. It's not worth wasting runes. There's no combat either, so that's fine. Access to the Warrens. What the fuck is that? I don't remember this quest for the life of me. I thought I did, but nope. I'm just wondering if this is the one that unlocks the, if this is the one that unlocks that thieving activity in Port Piscilius. Stew. So I'm pretty sure it's that stew. There it is. Hell yeah. Wait, what? Group choose? Wait, what the fuck is group choose for teleport to house? No shot. You can teleport to a group member's house? I'm gonna, hold up. This is actually huge for teleporting around. Just gotta get a snip of that. That is fucking huge. That is actually fucking nuts, but yeah. We can set up our houses basically in different locations to cover more ground when teleporting. That is fucking insane. That actually goes so hard. Holy fuck. Alright, where was I going? Port Piscilius. Oh yeah, I was heading to Port Sarim. So I could go to Land's End. What does that say? Murder Conrad King. How am I supposed? It says there's no combat. Here? I genuinely don't remember this. Looking for a quest. What are you investigating? Yada yada yada. I really don't remember this for the life of me. Nor do I remember why I have a fucking stew. This way. This guy wants the stew, I guess. Yeah, there you go. It's actually kind of funny, there was a bit of dialogue there about how suspicious it was that I already had some stew on me. Oh, just go down. Maybe this is what I think it... No, this ain't what I think it is. What the fuck is this? Where is the Warrens? How do I get across? Oh. Right, the bridges just aren't on the map. That water is... nasty. Just because of how, like, stagnant it is. Okay. Good. Why are the quest dialogue things not coming up? Oh, there we go. Yeah, now it's coming up. Like I say, normally I have the little chat box that comes up over their heads. But yeah, now that I know this about the housing thing, I might move my house to somewhere... Actually, I don't know where yet. Assidious would be nice, because there's a lot of stuff going on there sometimes. But then again... Polnivnich, or whatever the fuck it's pronounced. Like, that one's a pretty fucking solid spot. I don't know about the other ones, I don't know where else they go. Framanic's a nice one. At least early on, before you get the boots. Okay. How would you like to kill him? Oh, brutally. You brutally murder Conrad King, you monster. Fuck yeah. Wow, that was easy. See, this is what I love about RuneScape, is there's no morality. There's no, you know, justification for why you have to kill someone. You just do it. It's fucking great. I don't need, like, a monologue from every single person who turns out to be my enemy and then they turn it around and become, like, the happiest person in the world. No, I just fucking kill him. Talk to the Queen of Thieves. What do I get for this anyways? It's just 2000 XP. Coins and a page for the memoirs. The memoirs. Just get back out. Jesus Christ, how many times do I have to go into this fucking place? This quest kind of stinks with all the running back and forth. should have taken those strange fruits. Wait, what's the best way to go here? Whoa, where is this taking me? Hold up, where the hell am I going? Am I fucking blind? Oh, I am, because I've... Right, I was looking the wrong way. Right, I need to go back to Corinne. Oh, I hate that place so much. The fucking music there stinks. Just fucking ass music. Literally, it's ass music. There it is. Fucking hate it. Okay, so... what's next on my list of quests, anyways? I would like to get around to Elemental Workshop, just because I like that quest. Even though I've already done it blind, and I'm just going to be doing it with a guide. I want more Elemental Workshop quests. They've been stalling the third one for too long. I need part 3. They've left it fucking... what's the word? On a cliffhanger. Those bastards. There's like a big fucking... I think it's like a body rune symbol somewhere down there. Be so cool. And the puzzles are so fun. That's part 3, and apparently it's pretty bad, so hopefully they don't do that. Well, the good news is they don't have to fight. Yeah, they can just do everything that's like... they could do the exact opposite of what RuneScape 3 did, right? I haven't seen... what is RuneScape 3 Elemental Workshop 3 like? RuneScape Elemental Workshop 3? Well, I think I see the problem here. The entire thing is just one puzzle. Like, as in, like, one interface of a puzzle. Oh. Oh dear. Oh, and it is based on the body. Okay. Yeah, maybe they need to... maybe... they need to take some time to cook with that. I will let them have it. They have been given time to cook. Ah, this music just won't go away, huh? There we go. Sorry, I'm just replying the thing. Okay. Into the Warrens. Where's the Warrens? This way. thinking Relica. There is the Fremenic boots that can teleport you there, but that's something we're not going to get for a while. At least I'm not getting that for a while. But yeah, that's going to be so good. Fucking group, multiple houses to group teleport off is fucking huge. I can't get over that. That is, give you 1 TP a day that they are planning on it. Do they? You know what's funny is I never knew that because I've only ever used them once a day. I guess I don't use it enough to realize otherwise. Well, shit. Well, now I know. Yeah, I never really find many reasons to go directly to Fremenic Isles. It's always like, oh, I just end up taking the fucking, what's it called, fairy ring nearby and just going to, like, hunting and slaying zones. And, like, sometimes I'm just extra lazy and I just buy teleport scrolls to get to, like, Lunar Isle and stuff like that, so I don't really... Yeah, I really don't think about it much. What's Depths of Despair? Agility XP, Sand Sneak level 36. Do I need to be worried about that? Xeric's Talisman. Oh, that's recommended, I was gonna say. Talk to Lord Kander, Hosidius. Okay. Oh, so this is the farmland area. Do I really need to do all of these? Okay. So I got a page now. Yeah. I should probably bring my book. I should just use the book to get around. I don't really like using the pages because I actually don't remember how to fucking update anything. Where's the bank? Should be to the north. How many teleports do I get out of this book? Because I might just fucking use them. I don't really like going around this place very much. Where's my book? Corrects to memoirs. Okay. Use. You add an entry, so can I use it to teleport now? Where do I want to go? Hosidius. Oh. Oh. Oh, it doesn't work that easily. Lunch by the Lancaliums? Maybe that's the one. There is nothing here to remember. Fuck. So I guess that's why I'm doing all these quests, is to unlock the teleport spots. Okay then. Oh, I need to get some gear. Wait, there's a bank on the way. Yeah. I'll go get my gear and food. Doesn't say anything about poison. No. Okay. These have letters on them. Oh, the different areas. Bank is there. Gonna get my gear. Grab that. I think in my spare time I'm gonna get my magic up to a point where I can enchant diamond. Then I can do something about all these fucking amulets and rings and shit that I fucking stole from those houses. It's gonna be good. What have we got? Is that everything? I think it's everything. Yeah. Oh, right, just in case, get some food. Where am I going? It's disappear. Oh no, it's right in front of me, that's why. Yeah, I really don't remember these quests. I mean, I don't think I've done them on my Ultimate Iron Man anyways, so I've definitely not done these blind yet, but I've definitely done these on my main, and I have no recollection of them. I should have grabbed some strange fruits, but that's whatever. That's despair. Speak with Chef Olivia. Oh, there. Oh, that's far. Is there an easy way to Arceus? Maybe I have something in here. A dark disposition. Oh, okay. I guess the fish's flute is... There we go. How many of these do I have? 19 more memories. Cool. But yeah, one thing I plan to do as well is get my attack to 60 soon. I'm gonna get my attack to 60, get my prayer to 43. I'm gonna get me a fucking dragon longsword. And then I'm just gonna go nuts. I'm just gonna go dragon longsword and monk robes everywhere. It's gonna be great. Does this give any prayer? This also gives prayer. I'm gonna put this on. Whatever the fuck it is. Shit, it doesn't give attack bonus, though it kinda sucks. Although I didn't know it gives a magic... Wait, no, it doesn't give a magic attack bonus. It's because I have a shield. Yeah. Find the Valamor envoy? Interesting. Ask Galena for the approximate location if you can't find it. Oh wait, what did they just say? Bottom floor, northeast. Oh, we're here. Okay. It's usually around the back here. They often tend not to be so close to the entrance because I'd swear I would have been jumping on that every time if that were the case. It's gonna be like here. In fact, I'm betting that it's there. Like this one, the first one on this wall. It's gonna be one of these two. Yeah, fuck. Oh wait, that wasn't even it. Hold up. They're like, oh hello, Ellen. Is this it? This is it. The Valinor Envoy. Hello. What's happening? Oh, did you come and get the book? Okay. Oh, wait, are you actually doing your wait, were you doing this for the quest, or are you doing this for the magic XP? It wasn't there for you? Are you telling me this is fucking... These are... Is this... doing... Oh, did you just need to do the dialogue? I had to talk to her. Okay, alright. I was gonna say... I'm gonna drop this diary. That confused me. For a second there, I was like, I swear this isn't, like, instanced. Because I've seen people come to the same, like... I've seen people come to the same shelves as me whenever I was doing it. Where am I head? Oh my lord, that's so far. Okay. I don't even know if that's quicker. I need Karen teleport, but I suck. Yeah. Maybe for the book search skip, yeah, no worries. God damn it. I was wondering what was going on. Oh, I'm just gonna have to make the trek, aren't I? Oh, I fucking hate this place. Use the minecart from the north side of the library. Wait, do I have access to the minecart? I thought that was only after you do the quests and stuff. Do I really just have full access to the minecarts? I haven't actually tried. You can use them immediately. I had no idea. I did not realize this. I have been running around as a noob, like whenever I'm new here, I've been running around like an idiot on my Ultimate Iron Man and on this. Like I've obviously been using it on my main, but Jesus Christ. You are fucking kidding me. Oh my god. Where am I going? Karen Woodlands. F, yeah. Big fat fucking F. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. This would have shaved like hours off of my life. I mean, this has shaved hours off of my life. I could get hours back if had I known sooner. I told you the other night after you did the quest. Yeah, true. True. What is this place anyways? That's where the snake is. I guess so. What are they killing? There's crabs down here as well. Holy shit. I didn't know that. I was tempted, not gonna lie. Fuck you. Sandy Boulder? Wait, what level are these ones? Hold up. SRS Sandy Boulder. King Sand Crab. Oh, okay, let's not do that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Cross the stepping stones, climb, blah, blah, blah. Easy. The fuck? Yeah, just ahead of me, god damn it. Good luck to fight. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. You just ran past me like with no gear on. Like, what do you mean? Oh, God damn it. Let's see, yeah. I'll fucking go destroy this thing. What am I using? Chop? Nice. It's a lot of health for level 36, I have to say. Is this like an actual boss, but for noobs? Has to be, right? Do I want to use my prayer? It's not even fucking landing a hit on me. I don't even keep my prayer. Wait, it hit me? Oh no. Technically it's a boss? Jesus Christ, what? I still have yet to do Nightmare Zone. I've heard it's like the best place to like AFK. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can AFK it, and every time I look into it, it's like, just buy 1,000 of these pots, and just buy 1,000 of these things, and then just go AFK, and it's like, I try and look at how to buy those things, and it's like, you only get them from the fucking Nightmare Zone, so I can't go AFK, just right off the bat. Yeah. It's confusing. Run the whole way back. On hardcore it's possible to die. Oh! Oh, is it a dangerous activity? No, it's... Oh wait, hang on. It's still dangerous for hardcore group iron. Never mind, yeah. That's so mean. Wait, specifically group iron? What? Why do we deserve this? Okay, I'm gonna die trying to climb this rock. I actually can't climb this fucking... What is going on? Are you fucking kidding me? I've had no trouble with the mob, but I'm gonna die to some rocks? Jesus Christ. The true boss, yeah, clearly. That's what you were warning me about. Fuck me. Oh, I need to go through the crack, right? The crevasse. I was so happy to just go out there without losing a single lobster. And then the fucking wall boss came in. The literal wall boss. Where the hell am I going? Ugh. Is there a cart nearby? Is that? No, that's not one. There's one far to the side. It might just be worth just running back, I don't know. Actually, no. No, her city is south, should work. Yeah. Yeah, this should be fine. Imagine not having fairy rings. Fuck off, okay? I don't have 43 prayer to just freely do whatever I want. To do whatever quest I want. But that is something I want to work. I don't even have fairy rings on my fucking Ultimate Iron Man yet. That's something I was working towards. Like, I have the... What is it? I have access to the Lost City on that. And I want to get access to the Lost City on this. What do I need for Lost City, actually? I want to get Lost City so I can buy myself a... Oh. Let's see. I want to get Lost City so that I can, got them before prayers? Fuck you. But I want to get Lost City so I can get myself a Dragon Sword. It's gonna be good. Wait, you can go to Lost City, right? I mean, actually, I don't need to worry. The fight was a pain to flinch like that, though. Yeah, I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to do... Because, like, Lost City's the one where you have to go naked to fight a nature spirit, right? I know... I've seen that you can make equipment on the island, though. I can't remember what it was, but you can set yourself up with gear. Not just the axe, but you can make stuff on the island. I forgot what it was, but I think you can make, like, arrows and a bow? Maybe? It's not nature spirit, it's tree spirit, I think. No, that's not it. No. Hang on. Oh, it's tree spirit. Yeah, here we go. Tree spirit, Lost City, strategy, blah blah. It is not advised to use the bronze axe dropped from zombies. We bring runes and manually cast while you save spot, but that one is a bit dodgy. Wait, you're allowed to bring mind runes? I didn't know that. Easy to range the tree spirit or use magic with it being weak to crumble undead. Oh. Arrows, unstrung bows, and bowstrings are allowed on the island. Simply string the bow when you reach the dungeon. For those who prefer not to use ranged or magic attacks, ring of recoil is an option. However, if you take too long, after about 10 minutes it will despawn and you have to refight. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And is there a safe spot? There is a safe spot. I remember using them to, like, get a moment to recover. Yeah. There it is. And so Crumble Undead is, like, the fucking meta. Crumble Undead, Chaos. Okay. Really? Wait, it's a spirit. Yeah, of course. I guess I hadn't thought about it like that. Okay, use that one there. Okay, so what's next? Mountain Daughter. Is this another fucking... No, there's something else. Access to the mountain camp? Oh, is this the fucking mountain camp next to Relica? Why would I want access there? I don't actually know what this place has. It's like a farming spot up there or some shit, right? Oh no, that's in the Troll Stronghold. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else there is. Tribal Totem. What does Tribal Totem give me? Dig Site. Dig Site's worth doing, actually. Whoa. Yeah, yep, I'm doing Dig Site. I was gonna say for the fucking... What's it called? Access to Fossil Island. But this is huge as well. And also, I need to get kudos. Let's go to Varrock. So what do I need? Pestle and Mortar. I still don't have a Pestle and Mortar? Holy shit. You can get by panning at the dig site. Obtainable during the... Okay, rope. Cup of tea. Where the fuck do I get a cup of tea? Is that tea vendor in... Buy tea at Varrock? Okay, hang on. I wanted to come here so I could get... what's it called? Pestle and mortar. Vial? I just have a vial in my bag? I thought I got rid of those. Okay. That 15k mining XP is huge! That is so nice. I really want that. At some point I might just burn through, what's it called, Motherload, but not for a while. Wait, isn't there a cup of tea here actually? Hang on. Yeah, there is. Nice. We got a cup of tea, pestle and mortar. Out in the box. Opal I can find there, charcoal I can find there. Cup of tea, tinderbox, fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Teleport to Varrock and get the rest. I'll put my gear away. Keep the cloak and the gloves. Oh, okay, just drop it in. What have we got here? Correct memories, I don't care about that. Keep the money. So we've got tea, that, wear this, wear this, get a vial. Should have here. Tinderbox. 2 rope. And then the rest I can just get from the dig site. Okay. Let's power through it. Oh, I just saw the 2k Herblore experience as well. Be pretty good. I think that should get me to level 22, which if I recall correctly, is not the thing I was looking forward to. Never mind. I was thinking of energy pots, which I completely forgot to grab some strange fruits again. So that's good. This is a big quest. This is a really big quest. Holy shit. Okay. Wait, does it need to be a cut opal? Fuck, I need a chisel. Do they give me a chisel? Osiris chisel. Doesn't look like it. Oh, that stinks. Okay, I need to get a chisel. Oh, I need to head to Varrock anyways. Perfect. Thank God. Just buy a chisel. I already got. I know I have one, but this is a shorter detour than going to the bank. Talk to the curator. Is that it? return to the exam. Fuck you, man. This quest helper is susceptible to getting out of sync with the actual quest. If this happens, just open up the... Oh, right, yeah. Where's my fucking... IO? Fucking slamming something down there. Oh, right, yeah, it's mostly just coal at this point, is where I'm gonna unlock, is what I'm gonna unlock. Okay. There we go. Right. Search the bushes north. Oh, I can just ignore her? Cool. Pretty sure she was asking me important questions, but it's fine. Don't need to answer. It's all good. Panning tray, so I need to use this until I get... Oh, a special cup apparently. But I also need that opal. Oh! What the fuck are you doing here? Are you just copying me now? How are you ahead of me? And where did you get a rune scimitar? Actually, I didn't even realize that. Why do you have a... How do you get a rune scimitar? I've been trying to get one. But I can't find anywhere to buy one. Been killing fire. They drop rune scimitars? Oh, what's the drop rate on that? I didn't even think about them. I just saw the list of like really high level mobs and I just ignored it. 1 in 128. I suppose it's not too bad because fire giants are kind of stupid. Huh. Right, come on, give me that opal. Oh, nice. Nice. There we go. Problem solved. Where do you get charcoal? Searching specimens. Okay. So you get an animal skull and a specimen brush. Man, imagine not having 64 thieving to do this quest. What a skill issue. Talk to the female student. Northwest. We're following the same quest list. I honestly didn't know you were because like you were juggling like 50 fucking quests at the same time, so I thought you had like your own system going on. Pickpocket this one? No, we just talk to this one. What did it say about the charcoal? By searching specimen trees, okay. I pick up things of him there, that's how I was ahead of you on there. Oh, I see. Yeah, fair enough. We've done the first few steps. Yeah. Yeah, that checks out. I just have this awful, like... what's the word? I hate leaving quests open. Like, I am so irritated by the fact that I've got Dragon Slayer open because I opened it to get the shield, but I didn't want to do Dragon Slayer yet. And it's just there taunting me. I hate it. I really want to go do it just to get it off the list, but you need to play it safe. The problem is, which I had discovered on my Ultimate Iron Man, is that Elvarg drains your prayer, so you can't actually just prayer it. Like, you can prayer a few hits at the start, but you'll be empty by like the 5th attack or something. So it's like, I need to be ready to just fucking melt that shit. Today I learned, yeah, it was. I learned then as well, right there and then. My Ultimate Iron Man with like fucking shit in my britches when I realized that happened. It was awful. So yeah, like I think it's like every attack will drain like 10 prayer, so you just kind of have to like, like you can use it at the start. You should use it at the start because it gets drained even if it's off. And, yeah. It's fucking awful. Yay! Talk to the female student northwest of the dig site, okay. But yeah, so if you're gonna do Dragon Slayer, just now you know not to just get comfortable with protect prayers. Bring lots of fucking food and an emergency teleport. You are tanking that shit. Could you get me a charcoal too, by the way? Sure. Where do I even... I don't even know where I get the charcoal. Like, it hasn't come up yet, has it? I haven't seen it come up, but I will if I can. It says... Where did it say again? Like, specimen trays? I haven't seen specimen trays. Oh, were they back at the exam center? Suppose I'll find out in a bit. Let's see. Specimen jar to search, which I assume we'll get later. Right, yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, because it hasn't come up. You know, I can just click on the list, let me see. Specimen jar. Yeah, it's on the discovery part, yeah. I mean, assuming charcoal's tradable, yeah, I can get you one. Talk to an examiner at the exam center to take the step. Okay. That done. Talk to the female student northwest of the Dix. Gotta go faster than this. Yes, please. It's gonna cost you. Yeah. Take an opal. Should have been take my opal, lady. There you go. That's who now. This guy again. Where is he? Oh, there. So, talk to the student in the green shirt, south of the dig site. Let me take one more test before we can start getting the specimen jars. This guy's really fucking RPing his Gandalf or some shit. Okay, I'm ready for the last exam. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. Hell yeah, I'm ready to be an archaeologist. Okay. Get them out of here. Nope, I just closed the cupboard. Okay. Do I need multiple? Dig in the northeast dig spot in the dig site until you get a talisman. Do I get multiple jars? No, I can only get one. Okay. Wait, is it this? Is this where I can get some? Wait, is this the specimen tray? I think this is it. I like dust it off. How do I cracked sample? Find a coin. Okay. Broken glass. I think this might be where, yeah. Group's still 5 out of 5. Damn right. We're killing it. Oh, I got some charcoal. Just bury these bones. Fuck it. Yeah, we're doing awesome. Oh, did you get yours? Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, and I just got another one. I'll leave it for the group, I guess. But yeah, we're doing alright. We're doing some pretty risky quests so far. Like, oh, Alan's off to the maze. Like, there's been some pretty risky maneuvers, but we're pulling through. Currently just, you know, still questing. My goal at the moment is to try and get, like, enough magic to be able to enchant all my jewelry. And, as well as that, I want to get 60 attack so I can get dragon longswords going. Get that D long. You know? It's gonna be good shit. And then maybe get my agility to 50 so I can get rogue gear, and then get the rogue gear so I can get more money, and then get all that money to then just buy whatever the fuck I want in the world. It'll be great. I'm currently making my money through Valimor thieving, and I have like, I think I have like 230k left now. I think after I spent all that money on runes. But yeah, it's gonna be good. Okay. Can you do Scarius as a private group? I don't know if you can do it as a private group, but I think you can just go in publicly to do it and hope that no one else jumps in, right? 8 nats, 33 coal. Damn, the 33 coal's nice. But yeah, I don't know if you can set up a private group. I could be wrong. We haven't... Actually, maybe I can find out. OSRS, Group Ironman... Group Ironman... Scarius? You cannot have a private instance with Group Ironman. Yeah, this was already asking the module, but this was 2 years ago. I said, yet? Look into some kind of additional instancing similar to co-op. Okay. Is there anything now? Oh, it looks like that. Hang on, it looks like there might have been. You have the option to create a private instance for this fight. Let me try group. Iron Men can participate with other accounts and will receive kill count, although they will not receive drops. What? They will not receive any drops except medium clues if they can manage to attain MVP. Group Iron Men have access to a shared instance allowing them to fight Scarius together. Wait, what does that mean? Will not receive any drops except medium clues if they can manage to attain MVP. Am I reading this like an idiot? That's for regular irons with other people? What? Oh, I am reading this like it. Iron Men, not Group Iron Men. Jesus, I'm being an idiot. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Fuck me. I thought I was reading that like an imbecile. Okay, yeah, so Group Iron Men do have a shared instance to allow fighting together. So it doesn't actually have to be a public lobby, which is nice. Though I ain't trying Scarius until I've got my fucking prayers, and high enough prayer, and prayer pots, and fucking monkfish. I'm not taking any fucking chances. So I have to use the use the rope on the. Oh my lord! Climb down the last winch. Okay, grab these. Pick up some. Search the bricks to the south. Get back up here. This rope on this one. Pile of rocks. Okay. Use the key on the dig site, on the chest in this. Okay, so dig site. God, I hate how huge ridiculous. Oh, I'm gonna be logged out in 30 minutes. Hang on. Been fucking online for too long. I've actually been online pretty much all day. I've already had to do one log. I swear it's like 6 hours, but I don't feel like it's been... I think they must have shortened it or something. Because it's definitely not been 6 hours since I last logged. Okay. What am I doing with this? Search barrel. Oh, vial. Do not left click. Right click, use on the archaeological expert in the exam center. Who? Oh, in the exam center. Do not left click. Do not left click. Do not left click. I'm gonna accidentally do it, aren't I? Do not left click. Do not left click. Just gonna move my whole hand to the other side of the mouse. Okay, I'm right clicking. Use on this guy. 4 out of 5 after a left click, yeah. Honestly, I'm worried about it. Use the powder. I assume it probably does a lot of damage, but yeah. Mix them together. Okay, grind charcoal. And then, oh, I didn't mean to do both, but okay. Add charcoal to the vial. Add the root to the vial. We're just making an insane explosive. Sure, this is fine. Worst case scenario, I'll teleport the fuck out of there. I hate the pathing of this thing. Okay, use component. Yeah, okay. And then tinderbox. Okay. Oh, okay, just keep running. Oh no, I killed Alan! Can you imagine? Although I don't see them, but I'm assuming that's because it's instanced. Yeah. Take the stone tablet. Yeah, these shouldn't aggro me. What level are you? 56. Use the tablet on the expert. Okay. Would have been a tragic way, right? Dies to an idiot's explosion. Oh, I'm out of energy. Shit. I'm seeing the race now that's happening here. I can see that you're trying to get ahead of me. But see, I have the graceful gloves. No. 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 What? Oh, I hit read on the stone tablet. I thought I hit use. Fuck! Damn it! Oh, whatever. Right, fuck you. Oh, that XP is nice though. 35. Well, 23. It was higher than I thought. What else is there? So this gives 1,000 thieving, 1,000 crafting. I do need crafting XP, but I can do that with the buckets. Oh, that's another thing I need to do is get a load of money to fuck around with those buckets. That ice glass stuff. Sleeping Giants. 6,000 smithing XP would be nice. And this is Giant's Foundry, isn't that? Giant's Foundry is the place where you, like, smell the giant equipment, right? It is. Recommended ice gloves. Oh, but I need ice gloves. How do you get ice gloves? I'm sorry, ice gloves. I think I have access to them, but I don't remember. Oh, I don't have access to them. Dropped by the Ice Queen. Nope. I don't have that. Nope. It's a giant sword minigame. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I like that. I did most of my smithing on my main on that because it's just so chill. Demon Slayer for the Silver Light. I'm kind of holding off on Shield of Arab until like everyone kind of wants to do it, because we could just do a thing where like one person does all of the stuff for 4 people, or like 2 for 3 people, you know. I'm pretty sure once you complete it, you can't really help them anymore, can you? Or can you? I actually don't remember. Creature of Fang Constraint, XP. I can do Shiloh Village? Well. Oh no, I ain't doing Shiloh Village. No. I remember watching that guy use me as a fucking safe spot. I could do it on my... I mean, I could do it with the prayer, but I can't do it without it. Like, that's fucking nuts. Did you take your money out of the bank? It should be... Wait, I'm holding 131k. Did I not save it? Sorry, hang on. One second. Just hang fire. I put 70k in there, but now I'm looking at the fact that I'm holding 131k and I'm starting to realize that I might not have saved the thing. Oh, I took all the money out. You know what? Fuck it. I'll leave all of it in there. I'll leave all of what I've got in there. I think I may have not realized that I did that. Yeah. So there should be 70k. 70k of that should have been what I was gonna give. I think I may have. I think when I was like sorting out my inventory, I may have just went, oh, take all this money because I need money. And I didn't realize I took it out of the fucking group storage. It happens. Yeah, it's a good thing you brought it up because I definitely wouldn't have realized. And it's a good thing I didn't dump it into my own fucking bank because I don't know how much I took. I didn't know how much it would have been. Oh my god, I almost just robbed everyone blind. That would have been quite the scandal. Can I do the kudos stuff at least? Actually, where's the... what's it called? Because that's pretty helpful for XP, isn't it? If you can get enough kudos. I forgot the name of it though. It's definitely in this list, but... there's no way I've done it already, is there? Let me have a look. Arrows, tree run. Or do I still need to do the Shield of Arav to actually do that? Let me see. It doesn't seem to suggest that. Let's talk to the check kudos. Discover an old coin, discover an ancient coin. Oh, I can discover coins first, actually. Let me do that. Okay. Yeah. Let's do some of this. I think I need to get the tools off the wall. Yes. Oh. Hell yeah. That's probably my fucking 8th count guy. Which is weird. Old coin, ancient coin. What is it? I swear it has a name in here or something. It's not named as a quest. It's named as like some shit. It's not even a mini quest. It's just listed in there, but I don't remember. Is it just that I don't meet the requirements? Let's look in. Museum. What's it called down there? Natural history quiz. No quiz? There's no way I've done it already. Okay, found something interesting. Cleaned out coin. Case 45. Okay, hang on 1 second. What is happening? Am I going crazy? It's a Varrock Museum mini quest that consists of... Have I done it then? Wait, is it in here? It's definitely not an actual quest. Okay, I'm so confused. Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna do this real quick. So, case 45. Where's that? There's museum cases. So 45. Wow, that doesn't fucking help at all. Why would you do this to me? Images. 45. 45. It's right here. Okay. What else have we got? Found something interesting. Really old coin. What do we have here? Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah. Display case 44, which I think is right next to it, right behind it. That's the ancient coin. There we go. What else have we got? Ancient symbol, presumably. Let's take a look. 37. 37's here. Okay. Found something interesting. Pottery 22. 22. It's just up here with the other pottery. Does the vase go up there as well? No. Okay, is that all of them out of this lot? I think there's 2 more items I need to insert. No, 1 more item. Let me just talk to them real quick and see if there's anything else. Found these old arrowheads. Add to the crates. Okay. Tully. Get out. Alright, let me dump these in the box. Place all your items and don't ask again. Oh, I forgot it just gives garbage. Let's do that. I'm surprised it's not coming up in the list. Let me do this instead. Natural. Nope. I remember it coming up in this list before, so I don't understand where the fuck it is. Is it generic helper? No. Player-made quest? That's kind of cool. What the fuck? Holy shit. Mini quest? I'm pretty sure I haven't done these, but I'll have a look again in a sec. Alright, what do we got? Oh, this is weird. Okay. What's the last item I'm missing? Pottery. Saradonan symbol, is that what I'm missing? No way, I might be. Number 36. This isn't looking good. Yeah, that one's number 36. So I think that is the one that I'm missing, and it's just not coming out. How do I get it? Oh, there it is. Okay. That was fortunate. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that. There's still the amulet that I need to obtain, but... Oh, actually, I get that out of just going through this, don't I? I don't have to dig them up, I just have to add my finds? Or am I mistaking that? I actually don't remember. Runes in storage? Nice! There you go. I'll go get them in a second. Oh, big ones. Nice. Just gonna bury these fucking care to carry them. I'll go get those runes out in a second. Can I walk out here? Nice. Okay. So it was 100 of these, 150 of these, and it was 100 of these. So I'll put 10 back in. Save. Thank you very much. Put those back in. Oh, that's gonna streamline so many things. Holy shit. Okay. These boots. So, yeah, let me check my kudos stuff. Discover coin, learn about the way. Yeah, so I haven't done these. So why have I not? Talk to Orlando Smith. Sure thing. I remember this used to be in the quest helper. Why is it not here anymore? It's just straight up not here. And I'm very confused. Like, the only reason I ever discovered this place was because of the quest helper. I never knew this fucking existed before this thing. It just would have been a lot more convenient if I could have just gone through this. It's not hard, it's just obviously like annoying because I'm trying to speed through this. Yeah. Oh, I didn't need to push the button. Stop that. Maybe it doesn't show mini quests. It does. It does show mini quests. It will show the answers. Oh, will it? Oh, it does. Okay, that's what it is. Never mind. Yeah, alright, that's fine. Maybe that's all. But yeah, you do get mini quests in here. Like it says, for example, bare your soul at the bottom is a mini quest. But yeah, also the Alfred bar, the bar crawl is a mini quest that doesn't have, what's it called? That doesn't even have a quest for it. And that's still in there, so it's really confusing. Yeah, so I got really confused by that, because I could have sworn I remember this being in the list and taking me here when I first, like, came back to the game, like 5 years ago. But it just seems to be gone. I never had the knowledge to come here. Let's do this. To Anchorage. Also, what do I need for the Fossil Island quest? I need to check that, because I wouldn't mind getting that unlocked. Oh, I need kudos for it, don't I? Right, yeah, I actually need to do this. It was like 100 or something. Oh, hang on, what am I doing? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I got this last bit here. We got this one anywhere. Squamata, stomach acid. Cool. Let me speak to him again. I've corrected all the mistakes. Yep. Oh, level 9 hunter. Nice. Oh, and Slayer XP. Holy shit. Okay, so let me speak to. I swear there's another NPC who can give me more kudos just by talking to them. Timeline displays, uncover the knowledge, blah blah blah, reveal further information, mini quest, Shield of Arabs 5, Fossil Island displays. Is it, maybe there's an NPC upstairs, I think that's who it is. Let me check upstairs. I remember there's someone who you can talk to. Is it this guy? I have some information that might be of use. Observatory, okay. Display number 17. Oh, okay, added to, yeah, there we go. Excalibur. Okay. You receive an old lamp. Okay. Okay. Keep going, keep going. Yep, one more. There we go. So that's 100 right there. Any more lamps? No. Get that Herblore XP. Oh! Okay, so do I have access to Fossil Island now? Or is it not called Fossil Island? What the hell is it called? Bone Voyage, that was it. Yep, got access. Awesome. Let's find Bone Voyage. Because with Bone Voyage, I can get some pretty good AFK farming going, especially with like the fossils and stuff. That'd be really helpful. Oh, there we go, just didn't update. Item requirements, 2 vodka. 2 vodka? Where the fuck do you get vodka? Marital potion unfinished. I think I have some Marital. I might as well just talk to him. Yeah, I'm gonna get the chest built for the bank as well. That would be really helpful. So, how do I get vodka? Marital. Oh yeah, there it is. Just file. Grab one. Where do you get vodka? OSRS vodka. No stronghold. Fill this up in my way. Shouldn't cut through here, can't it? It'd be quicker. Yeah. Travel. So, no strongholds. I think I know where I need to go. I should have grabbed the other stuff actually. So I need to go back to Varrock anyways. So, hopefully. Nope. It's one of the other ones. Is it this guy? Yeah. Vodka. Didn't bring money! Fuck! God damn it! Oh, there's a bank on the other side. That's fine. I wonder if I can buy vodka on this side. Don't think you can, but I'll try. No. Spain. Trade with Hudo? Wait, Hudo doesn't do... No, okay, yeah, I need to go all the way back to the other side. Where is he? There he is. Heckle Funch. Buy vodka, buy vodka. Alright. So let's get to Varrock, and then we're gonna go pick up the crafting supplies for the chest. Oh, I don't need a saw. Just need a hammer. 2 oak planks. That's 5. An iron bar. Oh, I'm gonna have to grab that out of the group storage, aren't I? Do I have iron ore? No. I'm gonna have to nab that from the group storage. Hehe. But the reason why I've been getting the, why I wanted the nature runes was because I just want to smelt iron without having to fucking worry about it, like, fucking up. So I'll probably put some more back in later. Nails. Needs more, right? I don't trust nails, they always fuck up. Get the whole stack. That's otherwise fine. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to do. How much money do I have? I'm gonna try this out. Let me move my house. Well, do I have to level up before I can move my house? I don't think I would need to. Let's find out. Oh no, you're Jeff. You're not the one I'm looking for. Relocate, so I want to move it to Polnich. Ah, construction level 20. Okay, yeah, I just need to level it up a bit. Alright, hello Sean, how's it going? Is it easier if I just go around the top? Fuck it, yeah, I'm already here. Finally questing. You're gonna start powering through levels. Think I can have you distract some moss giants later? I mean, I can bring my ult along. Have you block the experiments in the witch house? Oh, I don't know about blocking. I don't know how I can do that. I've already done witch's house. Can you actually go back in? But then I have to go through all that nonsense of getting the cheese, getting the fucking magnet, and doing all that. You can safe spot 2 of them. I tried to safe spot the first 2, but there's a couple cheese in storage. I mean, if I'm gonna do it on this, I may as well bring my fucking main over to do it. But it's more the what level are you? What's you're level 10? Oh no, sorry, your health is level 10. What have you been doing? Kill some goblins! You fool! I've been working. Kill some goblins! Just like a few. Get more than 1 strength, more than 1 defense, preferably. You can do that in a couple minutes. Quest time? Fuck me. Where am I going? Fuck, I got me distracted. It takes literally a couple minutes just to get some fucking strength and defense levels, at the very least. If you end up as the first 4 out of 5, that's gonna be hilarious. Fucking... I would say just start with a different quest. Like, don't do Witch's House until you've got a bit more health. Send to Southeast. So that was Haziel, just so I didn't need to kill level 13 man. I mean, I did the same. I literally did exactly what because I was low level when I did that quest. But yeah, don't do Witch's House if you can't survive, like, a few good hits. Don't take that chance, man. Because trying to safe spot those first two, you're gonna take a few hits for a while before you can safe spot the last two. Like, it ain't, I wouldn't say it's worth the risk. Talk to the sawmill operator. Okay. I did Stronghold with 10 HP. That's cute, but I don't think that's the same thing for Witch's House, considering you're in a confined space with the same mob, and safe spotting that mob. Safe spotting the first two requires you to do some weird jank positioning where you're constantly stepping on their tile, and hoping that they move off to the one spot you need them to go to. And if they don't, you're just taking hits unnecessarily. And if you've only got 10 health, you're gonna be there for a while with with whatever food you've got, and it's not a good idea. It's really not a good idea. What? What is that? Okay. Name implies death. If you fucking die this early, I am gonna be so pissed. Because you have been warned, okay? I have told you everything you need to know. If you die now, you are an idiot. If you die to that, you are an absolute imbecile. And if you survive, it doesn't make you a pro, okay? So make your choice wisely. This is gonna be a short-lived hardcore Iron Man group. Where am I headed? Woodcutting Guild. Oh, outside house. Why am I going this way? I keep following the arrow and I'm not following where I'm actually supposed to go. So yeah, I just need to get to. Oh, I could have just used the correct memories thing, couldn't I? Oh well. Is it easier to go via Land's End or? I think it is. Yeah, significantly easier, Jesus Christ. I might work on getting stuff for Lost City tonight later on. So where's the... Oh, it has to be that entrance. That's fucking ass. Sign the thing. Okay, back to Varrock. The sawmill operator. God, I hate this quest. But it's good to get done. Fossil Island is huge. Time for Plague City. Is that a safe quest? I remember doing that when it was early. Shouldn't be any danger there, right? I don't remember what the reward was. Very short. Doesn't feel very short. No mobs to bash, yeah. I can't remember what it gave. What did Plague City give? Mining XP. Ah. Oh, and it lets you, when you unlock it, lets you teleport to Ardoin. Yeah, I forgot about that. Careful not to catch it, that very real disease. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be real careful. Make sure you're fully kitted out. Because the last thing you want is to catch that dangerous. I think it's the stuff they're drinking, that dihydrogen monoxide. That shit's fucked up, man. Gotta get away from it. Need some interesting items though. Oh, does it? Like anything that's too hard to get. I don't actually remember what I needed for that. Setting sail? I think we're setting sail. Quite a fair few for the group. Oh, Ellen's grabbed a shitload of fucking extra quest items. I've barely supplied whatever I could find. Like, the most I've done is some goblin mail and some beads. I don't know what else I've put in there. I should have probably got the vodka and put it in the bank as well, now that I think about it, for Bon Voyage. But then again, I don't know how long it'll be before people actually need to go here, so I don't want to, like... My biggest issue is I don't want to, like, stuff the bank full of stuff, like, right now, because... There's, what, like 80 spaces? And I don't know if we're going to know who's the last person to complete a certain quest before we end up taking that item out of the bank, so it's going to be one of those things where it could be very cluttered for a while, and I don't want to, like, add to that clutter unless someone asks for it. I mean, it's great the way it is right now, just, like, looking over here and being like, oh, we have some of those. Cool. I just don't want to keep adding to the mess. Right, what do we need to do? Port Sarum Pub. Never fucking ends, does it? All my spare shit goes in after. Well, yeah, I mean spare shit for quests, I'm assuming you meant. Like, for a second there I took that as, you know, just those fucking bones, chicken feathers, like... Didn't realize there was only 80 spots there. No, it's fine, like, I think, because you're ahead of everyone anyways, like, in terms of questing. At least I assume you are. Like, everyone's gonna need those things for now anyways. My worry is that if I start adding to it as well, I don't know how bad it's gonna get. I don't know at what point everyone will be done with it with a certain quest for us to just be able to, you know, take it out and stuff as well. I think we'll just have to, like, take things out as and when. If, like, once it gets full, we'll start taking out early stuff, I guess. Doesn't matter who takes it out, I don't think. Turn to the barge. Oh, I hate this. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna fill up on strange fruit. I'm so sick of all this running. Let's fucking do it. Full send, let's go. Full speed ahead. Are you glad I was stealing it? I fucking added like 100 to there. It wasn't just you. I also did steal. Like, I got 64 thieving now. I needed money. And I got sick of just doing the fucking wine in Varlamore. That was depressing. This dude, I need money! Okay. Yep. Now I need to go back out of here. Head over to the odd old man. This quest is fucking awful with the amount of running you have to do. I mean, that's the case for most quests, but I feel like this is the worst because there's no, like, nearby teleport spots. Unless you have... What is it that has the Senaton? Oh, the fucking ancient spellbook, yeah. Great. I'll just go get that before I do this, shall I? Talk about Lucky Charms. And then we go board the barge. Sorry, that's it. Wait. What? Oh, I was supposed to speak to him again. I wasn't paying attention, I was looking at the other monitor. Okay, now I can board the barge. Oh. I'm gonna sneeze again. I don't think I am. Got that out of my head. Alright, let's see. There's one more thing I wanted to do. I can't remember if it was this or something else. What was it? I don't think it was another quest, was it? I mean, I'm not exactly holding any of this off for the streams anyways. Could have sworn there was something else I forgot about. It's fine. So it's Junior Navigator. Do that, yeah. You get drunk. You get nice and wasted. That's right, keep us steady. Oh, the sailing battle. Yeah, right. I think I'm fucking nailing this though. Oh yeah, gotta not forget to trim the sails for that extra XP. I'm looking forward to sailing though. It feels like it's probably gonna come out this year. Depends on like, I feel like sailing entirely depends on when they want to release League. Because like, if they want to get League out this year, we're probably not going to get sailing. But if they're planning on getting League out next year, we're probably going to get a League with sailing. Like if they delay it for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah! Fossil Island! I'm gonna go build that fucking chest. How do I get off? Travel Junior? Yeah. Where's that chest? Build chest pieces. It'd be cool to see a league with fucking... I need 21 construction? Fuck you in the face. I brought all this shit and I can't even... Whatever. Taking this plank as a protest. Alright, let me see. Let's get back. So... yeah. Drop these in here. Oh, I've still got the iron bar. I can put the iron bar back in actually as well. Wasn't mine to begin with. Okay. I might try and do some farming at some point as well. Thinking if I can get some, because I got a bunch of seeds I was stealing earlier. And I might try and get some herbs and potions and stuff. Oh, fun fact, if you want super anti-poisons, there's a place next to the observatory that just has a 1-dose anti-poison that just spawns on the floor. I grabbed like 3 of them and just made a 3-dose. Pretty nice, really convenient. Literally next to like the, where is it? Where's the observatory? Literally like right here, in this little spot here. Not that like super anti-poison is much different than anti-poison, but extended time and free is nice. But yeah. I am probably gonna call it here. I know I've been having early streams lately, but I've been playing so much RuneScape and I don't really intend to stream anything else until I got some more money. Like I've spent too much this month on mostly house things. So I've not really had anything new to fucking indulge in. But yeah. I'll pick up after next week, I think. But yeah, for now it's mostly just gonna be RuneScape. But yeah. Let's find someone to raid. I'll give Toe a raid. That weirdo. He's doing Warframe. Game for nerds. But yeah, I'm just gonna carry on playing this in this whole time, obviously. But yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow because we've got M7S. Which, well, if we clear early enough, we'll have M8S because we've actually cleared M7S. So technically, tomorrow is reclears and M8S. Oh god, I'm gonna hate that. But anyways, alright, I'm gonna go. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.